Peace, family. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Tbp Radio, and we are about business, community, and culture. Our normal third Sunday, of course, you already know, is the culture where we bring in Lady Q, and she's talking about what she's doing. But they are doing a beautiful and fabulous thing with their business, Words Unite. Make sure you check out Words Unite bookstore, as well as check out their Facebook page to learn more about their business, and go ahead and you can buy a book from their authors that they have. Make sure you check that out. And go ahead and share this with your community of people, because today we're going to be talking about cultural responsibility. Before we jump into cultural responsibility, I got two kings that's going to talk about the events that they had this weekend. One is the Black Community Day of Action, and also the second one is the candlelight vigil, and that was held in reference to Patrick Warren Sr., the incident that happened here in the city of Killeen. They gave respects to the family this weekend, and it was a very beautiful thing. I was there personally myself from beginning to end. So we're going to go ahead and pull in Brother Travis Johnson so he can talk about the Black Community Day of Action. And if you haven't heard anything about it, or you just didn't know about it, you'll be able to learn from him, you know, how it went and what was his intent behind it. If you was there, you'll definitely know the energy that he brought into the room. So we can go ahead and bring in Brother Travis to know and to communicate more about this event. Peace, Brother Travis. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Brother Ronnie. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for accepting. I think it was very necessary to have this conversation, because oftentimes the events that happen or the things that happen into the community, we don't know about them until after the fact. So I would say, forgive me for not having this conversation beforehand, just so the community can know more about it. But hey, getting the information out is something that's important, no matter if it was done before or if it was after, because now the conversation can now begin to be had. So anything that happens after that, you know exactly what's going on and how to participate. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about your event and what was the mission and intent behind it.
The Black Community Event Day of Action was an event intended to make our community, our Black communities in Killeen and the Central Texas surrounding areas, aware of gun safety, protecting themselves from police brutality and police violence, and making sure that we come together collectively as a community to protect ourselves from harm and danger, especially with the event that took place with Brother Patrick Warren Sr. when he had a mental health breakdown, and there was no one that we were able to call or rely on as far as making sure he get the proper aid that he needed to survive and to get through that mental health breakdown that he had with his family. If he was able to call on somebody like you or me and say, hey, I'm having a rough time, we may have been able to reach out to a different person within our circle and our Black community that may have been able to help him and possibly save his life that day. But unfortunately, that's what happens far too much. We rely on the system of white supremacy as far as the police department that's been infiltrated with white supremacist militia leaders within their organization to terrorize our community and unleash their tyranny. So the Black Community Event was about tangibles and resources that our Black community can use to further develop their growth and to make the awareness happen around them, and just understand that we are in this together. And when we unify, we can do so many things, and we become an immovable force within this fabric of America.
Right. So what's the name of your organization and what is it about?
The name of my organization is the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Pistol and Rifle Gun Club of Central Texas. And I am the co-founder of that organization. The commander, Nick Bezel, is the founder of the organization, which we started in June of 2020. And we started this organization in response to the Javier Ambler case that took place on live A&E PD, where he was killed by law enforcement in Williamson County. And we had came together and just said that we had enough, and we wanted to do something that brought attention to protecting our community and being able to bring awareness to gun safety and how to properly be responsible for gun ownership. And if you were a felon, then what we're doing right now is working to help all felons that are doing well and not in prison to get their record expunged so they will be able to have their license to carry. And we're working with different groups, working with different organizations, and we're trying to utilize those resources so that those brothers and sisters behind the industrial prison pipeline complex can be used to use for our community in a great way. And so that's what our organization was started for. And right now we're just continuing to build in our Black community, and we want all brothers and sisters who are legally armed or would like to carry and protect the community to join us.
Right. So again, I was at the event, and you had a lot of other community leaders there, and you had also had a lot of other community activists there as well. So what do you feel was the greatest outcome of that event and the people that participated during that time?
I think the greatest outcome was the main fact is that we were together. We were together as a community, and we got a chance to go through some of our hardest hit areas in our Black communities, where you see the trappers, where you see people that are strung out on drugs and other narcotics, and we also seen children and families that are looking for guidance, looking for leadership, and we were able to go out there and advocate to those families, to all of those different groups of people within our Black community about what we're there for, what our goal is, what our intention is to make sure that you're safe, make sure that your family is safe, and make sure that we are protecting our youth and teaching them the things that will make them successful in life moving forward, and knowing that they can be whatever they want to be. They don't just have to be they don't just have to be rappers or actors or entertainers. They can be scientists. They can be presidents of the Innovation Black Chambers of Commerce like you. And they can be strong leaders like Brother Brian King with the BACK organization and so many other organizations where we can fuel their fire so that they can live out their dreams, but understand who they are in this system of white supremacy. And we are trying to end racism so that our next generation of youth won't have to go through that. And so that was our intent. And the goal really reached a high level because people were crying out there in happiness because we were there to do something about the wounds that have been terrorizing and tearing our community apart. And we just wanted to show the community that we can come together, and this is what community looks like.
Right. So we have Sister Hampton. She asked, what was the name of the gun club again?
The Elmer Geronimo Pratt Pistol and Rifle Gun Club of Central Texas.
Right. You have a Facebook page, website?
Yes, we have a Facebook page, the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Pistol and Rifle Gun Club of Central Texas.
Okay. For those that's watching, make sure you go ahead and put that in your Facebook search, because Facebook is a social search engine. Put that in your Facebook search. Anything that has anything to that, those words together, it's going to pull that stuff up, because they did have events down there in the Austin area. So you're definitely going to see some of that social proof where you're going to be able to tap in. So is it a membership led organization? How does it work?
Yes, it's pretty much a membership-led organization, because everyone that has a gun can't join, because there are some people that want to join, they're trigger happy, or they just don't have the skills that we're looking for as far as being a member and carrying with us, because a lot of times, as you saw yesterday, we are in large formations, and if the wrong person has that weapon and they unleash that weapon and they don't know how to use the firearm properly, it could kill someone. And so everyone in our organization is trained to carry their weapon and they're also trained on gun safety as well, and they know how to protect their community. And so we want to make sure that we have members that fall in line with what we're looking for as well.
All right. Again, make sure you check out the Facebook page and learn more about the organization and reach out as well. So the next individual we're going to bring in, which is called BACK, Brothers Against Community Crime, which is led by the founder, Mr. Brian King, Mr. Brian Jennings, aka Brian King. So we're going to bring him in so he can talk about the candlelit vigil that they had this weekend. So if you were there, you definitely see there was candles, of course, and also did a balloon release at the same time. But that was a pretty emotional event. You know, people showed up. You know, regardless of the weather situation, there was still people there. News showed up, of course, but there was still people there in support of the family, the Warren family, and they, you know, we came together, we talked, we communicated, we prayed. And we lit candles. So let me pull in Mr. Brian King, if he's here. Hey, I guess technology was working against him. All right, so we're going to keep going. So the next thing we're going to talk about, if Brian King comes in, we'll pull him in. So I know the main event, well, the main conversational piece, again, it's open dialogue. So if you're watching and you have things that you want to say, just go ahead and put it in the comment section. We'll bring it in. If you have a question, you can put that in the comment section, and I will post your question like you've seen I did for Sister Hampton. I will post your question on the screen, and then we will communicate about that question. So the subject is cultural responsibility. So Brother Travis, to you, what do you feel, what is cultural responsibility to you?
Cultural responsibility is understanding who you are, understanding the threats that we're facing in Black America and America, because we know it's two separate Americas, and also making sure that you understand your history of who you are and utilizing those three elements to pass along to other people in our community that can use that same information and pass it along and let it just continue to be contagious. And then we pass it around so much until information is key. I always tell people information is key, but it's not just information, it's what you do with the information. And we want cultural responsibility is acting on that information that you pass along in the Black community. And so for me, that's what cultural responsibility means to me.
Right. So going into cultural responsibility, it's like it's a three-headed beast. You know, you have to know that there's an academic component to being cultural responsible, and there's also a cultural competency that is a component of it as well. Why? Because you have to understand, what are my role? What are my things? Am I competent in the things that I need to do with it? How am I teaching? Who am I teaching? Who am I involving in the conversation of during the teaching in the teachable moment? And then the third one is as well, it's kind of a fourth one. So the third one is like social political, you know, being able to be social political conscious about the culture of the cultural responsibility that you have. You know, just because, I'm just going to say it to be transparent, just because someone is in political office and they look like you doesn't necessarily mean they're going to fight for the things that you need them to fight for. But when they tap into their God sense and they tap into the things that they know they're culturally responsible for, then they can understand the things that they need to do to progress and to add on to the things that we know that we need in our community. And then the fourth thing is really when you begin to balance out that economic behavior. What is economic behavior? How are you spending? Where are you spending it at? How do you go about spending? How do you communicate the spend? And where is the money going? Just being completely culturally responsible with that. So do you feel that we're becoming, or we are a lot more culturally responsive now than what we were before? Because to me, it's kind of like MLK said, you know, there is a new social rights movement. Before, there was the social rights movement that happened, but do you feel we're a lot more culturally responsible now than ever before?
I think we are more culturally responsible now because of all the things that had taken place with Jim Crow, with things with the slave patrols, things with predatory lending and redlining, and understanding how social media works and how we can use our social media platforms to further our agenda as we're doing here today because of the coronavirus pandemic. Because I know before the coronavirus pandemic, we were here together. And I just want to say, excuse my voice. I've been screaming and
Yeah,
hollering
it
and
was kind of
chanting for
funny. Yeah,
our community yesterday, family. So that's why you hear
yeah,
my voice a little hoarse. I give my all to the community. So I just
yeah.
want to let you all know that's why I'm a little hoarse today.
Yeah,
But
because it found weird because you started saying coronavirus and your voice started cracking.
yeah.
Started cracking up. I was like, "Ooh, I'm glad this is virtual." Now I'm just playing.
Yeah, but I think as far as if you look at the race between Joe Biden and you look at the race between Donald Trump, there is clear division amongst the entire United States on what belief system we're starting to fall into. But as we can see, Kamala Harris stated that she wasn't going to do anything specifically that benefited Black people. No, and so we're at this crossroads now where we have the Black media, the new Black media, which is you, which is me, and others that are out there making sure that our voices, our narrative is heard. And when we hear the narrative from someone like you or a brother like me or a sister like Sunshine that's a part of TBP, then we know it's genuine. We know it's real because we know we're grassroots and we're on the ground with our Black communities every day, and we're suffering just like they are. And it doesn't matter how good we're doing if we're not all thriving economically under our group, then we're failing. And so we've gotten into a space to where we're starting to become politically conscious of what's happening around us because it starts from the federal, local, and state level where these things are being implemented. And you see that the executive orders that Joe Biden has put into place, the Black votes that were given to him, he stated to America that the United States, we owe the African Americans for getting us elected, getting us into office. But with his first 30 executive orders, there's nothing in there that is specifically targeted for the Black communities. Our community is always lumped in with other groups, the Latino community, the LGBTQ community, and other communities. And we have to stop worrying about being a part of other communities when they exclude us from their communities. When it comes to the Jewish community, or when it comes to the white community or Latino community, we are always being left out. And it's time for us to stop being left out and start having economic resources on the table to promote the interest of what we've done and the great legacy that our ancestors built and left us in this country.
Right. So now that goes and tap into the social political side. Um, to me, it's like building blocks and social stones that has to be contained and it has to be developed. Now, where the building blocks come from, it has to start with the foundation of education because if I'm not teaching you what a what a mayor does or what a city manager does or who actually really runs the city or what a constable is in those particular positions, if we're not teaching that even at the lowest level to our youth that are coming up, we're doing them a disservice because
Mm-hmm.
they may be in the position that is going to change the landscape in their time because our time is just so wild and it has totally evolved and totally flipped in so many different directions that if we're not teaching you can go and talk about political science all day, but I mean that's good, but let's pull them out and let's have them go physically tangibly meet a city council person, sit in a city council meeting, have conversations and mentorship from that level, and I guarantee you we have more people who look like us in political office. Why? Because we gave them education and we gave them interest at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That should be a start point, education, from the education, because we can teach them how to play basketball all day. We can teach them how to throw and play catch in the backyard all day, but we're not teaching them how to fish from that side, and I think when we get more into that, then we'll definitely create a much more tangible outcome, not just spiritual outcome. I mean, it feels good because it's spiritual, but creating much more tangible outcomes, that means we can actually see it, touch it, feel it, and actually execute it if we need to duplicate it as well.
I agree with that. I agree with that, Ronnie. Also, just wanted to say that to add to that, along with the education, it starts with parenting, proper parenting, and making sure that you are educating your children on, values, morals, our culture of who we are, and making sure you're teaching them right from wrong, and also making sure that they understand what discipline means, and when I say discipline, I mean learning how to talk, learning when to speak, when not to speak, when you need to say something or when you need to take action on certain things, and when you just need to learn how to build on communicating with people, your friends, building communication with your family, because the family structure has to be strong. And if your kid doesn't know how to communicate with you on issues that they're having or issues that you're having, you'll never understand your child, and you'll just keep allowing your child to go through life thinking that this is how life is supposed to be. But if you sit down and spend time with your child and properly train them and educate them on different facets of life, not just certain things in life that you feel comfortable with or the way that you want them to be, let them be a butterfly and soak in information, even if it's wrong information, so they'll know how to discern from what's right and what's wrong. And I think that great parenting, skills is a necessity along with that education to make sure our kids grow up and have a wonderful and strong and bright future.
Right. Got it. Love it. All right, folks, we coming towards the end, and I definitely love the conversation and dialogue that's in the room. We got Brother Shelton came in and said, yes, pretty much we're separated. We're separate. We are not people of color or minorities. We have Sister Leona. She said, amen. We got Miss DJ. She said, yes, we are more culturally responsible, especially with the misinformation being spread through social media. All right, so we're going to jump into the movie review. I'm not going to give you all of it because I don't know if you've seen it or not. So I'm going to pull this trailer up, and then I'm going to tell you my side, and I'm going to tell you why you need to see it. All right, here we go.
You remember me?
Hey, if you've seen it, go ahead and put in the comment section how you felt about it. Please. Don't tell the good stuff, the meaty stuff. Just tell them how you feel about it. Or you can say just watch it, whichever one.
Hands up! Hey! Wait! Put the phone down. Put that phone. Sorry, it's a phone. It's a cell phone. It's just a cell phone.
You knew he was unarmed.
Get to the car and put your hands in the air. Officer, please, he's just a kid.
You pointed your gun at him.
Okay, get out of the car, son. Easy.
You pulled the trigger.
Put the phone away! Put the phone away!
The grand jury determined that no probable cause exists to file any charges against Officer Randall.
This is my son. This is my little boy. You took that from me. The world took that from me. Today we make that right. Hear me when I say this, because I'm only going to say it once. Don't stop filming.
If you just give up now,
Why are we the only people in this country that are expected to do things without violence?
I didn't mean to kill your son.
What you did.
I did what I was trying to do.
I just want justice. That's all I want. This is your jury, the deciders of your fate. Today, you will be tried for the murder of my son. You scared? Are you afraid?
Family, I will say, if you haven't seen this movie yet, I would strongly recommend you watch it. And I would say watch it with your children, or watch it with your family. And then after you watch it with your family, that will be a great dialogue to have with your family, to where you're able to communicate about everyone's position, whether you're communicating from a father's role, or just look at it. It's very good. It was written very well. The dialogue in it was just so dope. Like Brother Sheldon said, we need to support this like we did Black Panther. Spike Lee, he did his thing in this movie. And this movie, no ma'am, this movie is on
Amazon.
Yes, sir. Amazon Prime. I guarantee you, when you see this, it's on YouTube. I guarantee you it's probably on YouTube Live or something like that, or you gotta pay for it. But this movie, I promise you, you will not regret watching this movie. This movie will have you at the edge of your seat. It will have you in so many different emotions. You're going to be upset. You're going to be sad. You're going to be happy. Watch it all the way to the end, because it's going to allow you to see what happens from the mind of an officer, as well as to why John Q don't have nothing on this. John Q did his thing, but this is something totally different than what John Q did. I mean, John Q was in the hospital. This is about much more relevant stuff, what's going on. But definitely check it out. We're not being sponsored, by Spike Lee, so I ain't gonna give him that much praise like I'm advertising for him. But culturally, I will say, check this out. This movie was phenomenal. Watch it tonight. You can, after you watch it, you can come back in this live and talk about, how you felt when you did it. This is going to take you in so many emotions. Oh yeah, it's way better than John Q. I mean, 100% better than John Q. John Q was good, no doubt. Denzel did his thing.
Yeah, Denzel did his thing.
Yeah, he did his thing. But this, right, as they say in California, when they talk about them in their name, this right here, right here, guys, this was good. Miss Brown, this is called American Skin. This is called America's Skin. I guarantee you, after you watch America's Skin, you'll be like, okay, I can probably see how he felt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone. I know this is random, but any recommendations on defensive training in Temple? All right, so we got a question for you.
Okay, what's the question? I can't see it.
It's on screen. But any recommendations on defensive training in Temple?
Yeah, I mean, just the main thing that you want to do is to train. We have brothers and sisters all around the state of Texas that are trained in hand-to-hand combat. And if you would like to find out some more information about that, I would strongly suggest that you go to our Elmer Geronimo Pratt Gun Club on Facebook and just drop something in there for us, and we'll be able to get you the resources that you need up there in Temple regarding that, or get you somewhere close to where you'll be able to get some training on defense. So definitely go on that page if you can, and then drop some information in there for us. Drop us a DM, and we'll get to you, and we'll let you know exactly where you need to go and who you can talk to.
All right. So, what's your email address and phone number that you want them, if you want them to reach out to you? What do you want them to? How do you want to connect with you?
Absolutely. The email address for the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Gun Club is E as in Edward, G as in girl, P as in Paul, club, gun club, EGP gun club at gmail.com.
Hold on. EGP.
Gun club
Uh-huh.
at gmail.com. And if you want to get in touch with us, my number is 254 258 7356. And leave a message, because a lot of times people call and they don't leave messages. You just hear people breathing. Sometimes they don't leave messages. I get it all the time. And so make sure you leave a message or drop a text, who you are and what your interest is, and we'll get back with you. We are in the process of recruiting down here in the city of Killeen and Central Texas surrounding areas and in Austin. So if you feel that you're ready to ignite the revolution and be a part of the revolution, then please, by all means, send us your information and we will get back with you as soon as possible. And there's no fees to sign up. It doesn't cost anything to sign up. This is about unity and this is about our people. Black power, all power to the people.
Yes, sir. Hey, I definitely thank you guys for being here, a part of TBP Radio. And again, we're about community, the business community and culture. Make sure you always tap in. We're here every Sunday at 7 o'clock. And it's just what we do. You know, we have to be culturally responsible, and we have to ensure that we're responsible for the narratives that is set that we're creating for ourselves. And hey, you guys be blessed. Enjoy the rest of your day. Why? Because if it's not about business, then we ain't about our business. Y'all be blessed. Peace.